Greeting, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Vanessa Diniz Mendonça Miranda. My research is about mediation and conciliation as appropriate methods of conflict resolution for the promotion of access to justice and culture of peace. Welcome. Mediation and conciliation is appropriate methods of conflict resolution for the promotion of access to justice and culture of peace. In the year 2013, the Justice in Numbers report of 2015 indicated the total number of 95.1 million processes in the Brazilian courts, and this number, according to projections, can reach the brand of 114.5 million in 2012. Thus, the judiciary instituted the National Judicial Policy for Appropriate Treatment of Conflicts, Resolution Number 125/2010, as a way to consolidate a permanent policy of incentive and improvement of the mechanisms are compositive. The problem of this research is to ask how mediation and conciliation as conflict resolution techniques have been employed in the Brazilian legal system and to investigate how these techniques have been constituted and effective as a public policy for the access to justice. To this end, a bibliographic research is carried out on the conception of conflict, mediation, and appropriate methods of conflict resolution, and analyzed how these guidelines have permeated the Brazilian public policies of access to justice and the promotion of the culture of peace. The theoretical framework is based on Completo, and Kazuo Watanabe as regards access to justice and fair legal order in search of a socially just and equitable society. The analysis indicated that mediation and conciliation are instruments that were incorporated into the Brazilian judiciary for the realization of access to justice and social pacification, and because it is understood that the judicial function is not restricted to a decision imposed by the judge to the extent that it also seeks to promote mechanisms that allow access to justice by means of non-hero norms. Conflict. To Crispino, the conflict is ever divergent opinion or different way of seeing or interpreting any event in a community that is trained to inhabit the conflict. This is seen as something bad and anomaly, while something to be suppressed. By losing the notion that equals conflict to something negative, it is possible to perceive it as a phenomenon that is likely to be conducted, that does not necessarily lead to violence. The piece considered by Galton as a positive relationship between the parties, a union, a communion. Since 1995, the debates on education for peace have been intensified. These discussions have mobilized governments, civil society, ONGs, and educators. The Culture of Peace movement began in 1999. The United Nations Educational, Scientific, and Cultural Organization. In this way, instruments have been sought in order to manage conflict so that they are dealt with in a way that does not trigger acts of violence. Among these mechanisms are the mediation and conciliation as conflict resolution techniques. Mediation and conciliation as appropriate methods of conflict resolution. Conciliation is a technical autocompositive facilitated conflict management, which may occur judicial or extrajudicial conducted by impartial third parties suggesting possible solution to the parties, assisting in the administration of the conflict. Mediation is a mechanism of conflict resolution imported from the North American model of the multi-party court, in which the third, impartial and capacitated, it approximates the parties to a dialogue without giving suggestions so that the parties themselves reach the solution or the controversy whose nature is more complex and the relationship between the parties has a continuity bond. Mediation is the most suitable technique when conflicts are of a family, affective, neighborhood order in which the parties have a relationship that can last for years or the life all and the financial restoration is insufficient to end the conflict. Conciliation in mediation is a public policy for access to justice in promotion of the culture of peace. A conciliation and mediation are, as we have already pointed out, public policies aimed at access to justice by Spengler. Constitution of Federative Republic of Brazil that established democracy in Brazil and ensures fundamental rights in his preamble already reveals commitment with the peaceful settlement of controversies in domestic and international orders. The mechanisms that effective access to justice are as important as the right to fair and equitable legal order. Access to justice as right to have rights. Final consideration. The mediation and conciliation are appropriate methods of resolving conflict incorporated in the structure of self-composition of the judiciary by Resolution number 125, 2010, CNJ, as a way to broaden forms of treatment of conflict in society. They are mechanisms with the ability to encourage democratic participation, cooperation, mutual respect, equality, and the construction of conflict resolution, develop skills to converge interests, opposing opinions. Thus, they are mechanisms for the promotion culture of peace and of access to justice in a broad sense, that is, not only access to the judiciary, but to the right to fair and equal legal order. And so we believe they must be public policy to be encouraged. Thank you very much. In this study, we analyze mediation and conciliation as appropriate methods of resolving conflicts for the realization of access to justice and the construction of a culture of peace. The interest in this study arose from the observance of the social mobilization in the Brazilian public power in implementing mechanisms for resolving appropriate, effective, and efficient conflicts.